Hello everyone, it's Miss Angela from the Fort Worth Public Library. Welcome back to another Fort Worth Nature Center Discovery Club Storytime. Now, we've talked about state animals, and today we're going to talk about state plants. I'm wearing this color because it's the same color as the state flower of Texas. Do you know what that is? If you said bluebonnets, you're right. I got to see some beautiful bluebonnets this weekend, and I learned something new while putting this storytime together. Texas has an official state flower song. It's called Bluebonnets, and it's by Julia D. Booth and Laura C. Crockett. I had to come up with a tune, but these are the words. When the pastures are green in the springtime, and the birds are singing their sonnets, you may look to the hills and the valleys, and they're covered with lovely bluebonnets. Bluebonnets, lovely bluebonnets, more beautiful than all the rest. Texas chose you for her flower. Bluebonnets, we love you best. Now let's sing that last part together. Bluebonnets, lovely bluebonnets, more beautiful than all the rest. Texas chose you for her flower. Bluebonnets, we love you best. Now, bluebonnets are our state flower, but there are a number of other plants that represent Texas. Our state plant is the prickly pear cactus, and our story today is about prickly pears. Big thanks to Clear Fork Publishing for letting us share this story. What? A Prickly Pear by Tina Mowry with illustrations by Sarah Williams. What do you see on this cover here? Those animals look familiar. We have raccoons. What about that one? Woodpecker, wham! We have a woodpecker. There's nothing in here, complained Stumpy. Not one scrap. I'm so hungry, whined Roxy. My stomach's grumbling so loudly I can't hear myself think. What I wouldn't give for one French fry, said Stumpy. Where are the raccoons? You see where they are? They're in a garbage bin. Where is that jackrabbit going? Asked Stumpy. He must be really hungry, added Roxy. The jackrabbit is eating. Not as hungry as you two look, said the jackrabbit. Wanna try some prickly pear cactus? Any food with prickly in its name can't be a good choice, frowned Stumpy. Looks like Roxy's hungry enough to try it, said the jackrabbit. Enjoy! Okay, Roxy's licking her lips. What's she gonna think? Youch! Screamed Roxy. Get him out! Get him out! Uh-oh. Some of the prickles went into Roxy's nose. Stumpy helped Roxy pull out the prickly spines from her nose and paws. Having some breakfast? The Javelina asked. There's the Javelina. Just some super sharp cactus spines, grumbled Roxy. You don't have to eat those, just rub them off, explained the Javelina. Our noses and paws won't do that, complained Stumpy. You won't know if you don't try, said the Javelina. I'm done trying, grumbled Roxy. Don't look at me, said Stumpy. I don't want a face full of spines. Watch out, shouted Stumpy and Roxy. Another perfect landing, said the woodpecker. What is that? Asked Roxy. The tastiest part of the cactus, the fruit, said the woodpecker. Mouths watering, the raccoons watched the woodpecker eat the juicy purple fruit. It looked delicious. You should try some, said the woodpecker. Simply scrumptious. Oh, we don't have a beak like yours, said Stumpy. Your face, giggled Roxy. What happened to the woodpecker's face? It's purple. It is, but at least my belly's full. Bye, y'all. Good luck, said the woodpecker. You can eat it like me, said the tortoise. How's that? Asked Roxy. "Very slowly," said the tortoise. "Watch it," squeaked a beetle. "Sorry," said the tortoise. "Didn't see you there." "The ones on the ground are the best," said the beetle. "They're so soft." "Thanks, y'all, but we'll just try the garbage bins again tonight," frowned Stumpy. Hungry and tired, the two raccoons hobbled toward their den. "You smell that?" said Stumpy. Roxy's face lit up like a firefly. "I sure do." They followed their noses to the prize. "Do you see what I see?" asked Roxy. "Do you see? Wait for me." Roxy and Stumpy approached the window. They moved slowly and quietly, staying low to the ground. "What's that on the windowsill?" What did they find? Paws ready, the raccoons reached up and grabbed the pie from the windowsill. In minutes, Roxy and Stumpy were safe in their den. "Such sweet success," Stumpy said between bites of pie. "Hot diggity dog," cheered Roxy. "This is the best way to eat prickly pears." Look, there's the pie baker. I don't think she left it there for the raccoons. The end. Have you ever tried prickly pear cactus? Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's time to pass it over to Mr. Michael at the Nature Center to talk more about state plants. See you next time.
Hello everyone, this is Michael Perez with the Fort Worth Nature Center and Refuge. I want to welcome you to another edition of Discovery Club. I want to thank Miss Angela for that wonderful story time and appreciate your involvement with our program. Now, we're going to continue with our theme that we've had set aside for this month, which is state symbols. Now, last week we talked about the animal versions, or the animal symbols, if you will, such as the northern mockingbird, the nine-banded armadillo, the western honeybee, the monarch butterfly. So we had several that we covered. Now we're going to transition and talk about the plants and the trees and the grasses and how they're represented for the state of Texas. So just like last week, I have some examples of photos I want to show you. So let's go ahead and get started. Now it's a little windy, so I apologize if the screen is kind of moving back and forth. I'm not rocking or anything like that. So I do apologize for that. But we'll get through this, and we're going to learn some things, and you may actually know some of these things, so you may be relearning some of these things. So let's go ahead and start with, I would say, the most recognizable state symbol, and that's our state flower. Now, you may know what the state flower is. I actually have one over here that I can see, but I didn't want to pick it and show you because that's not a good idea. I want to leave it there because pollinators, like insects and so forth, go in there and get the nectar out of it, and then they get the pollen from it, and they move to one flower to another, help advance it, and have more of those wildflowers around us. This is the time of year you're going to see them. They usually come around March. And speaking of March, this wildflower, it was designated as our state wildflower or state flower all the way back in 1901, I believe, on March 7th. So roughly about a month ago, over 120 years ago. So it has stood the test of time. And when it was made or designated as the state flower, it was one species. However, we have several varieties and other species of Oh, I just told you what it was, but you already knew, right? The Texas Bluebonnet. Okay, so when they made it the state flower, it was one species, but there's several varieties that are across the state of Texas, so they all fall under that umbrella of the state flower, which is the Bluebonnet. It's called a Bluebonnet because it has a bluish coloration, especially when you look at fields of them, and you see that blue color that's covering that prairie. It's called a bluebonnet because of the color blue, but also each one of these little petals looks like a sunbonnet. You know, a little hat there you can tie there. It keeps the sun out of your eyes that settlers used to have. So that's where it gets its name, Texas Bluebonnet. It's a beautiful flower. Now here at the Nature Center, we have some along the sidewalks and so forth, but we don't have like large fields of them. And I know everyone likes to take their pictures on them and want to see them and take pictures of them, but unfortunately we don't have that. You go down south to the city of Ennis, which which is where one of our staff members is from, you'll see fields of them there. In fact, it's designated as it is a state symbol as well. I can't remember what exactly it's called, like the state flower city or something like that. Bluebonnet City or something like that. So anyway, the bluebonnet is our state flower. In fact, there's a song that's our state flower song or something like that. It's called Bluebonnets. Never heard it. I should have played it so I can sing it to you. Nah, you don't want me to sing to you. This is my microphone. I can sing the Bluebonnet song to you. No, I'm not. So anyway, our state flower is the bluebonnet. Now let's transition, talk about our state tree. Now you may know what that is too. The state tree, now I have some pictures here, so let me go ahead and advance and get to those pictures so we can show you what they are and so you can see what they look like. So the state tree, it's a really big tree and it provides a lot of shade, a lot of resources, if you will, for both us and wildlife. They're very stately and very large. And we don't have any right here around where I am, but we do have them here at the refuge. And I'm talking about the pecan tree. So there's a state tree, at least the leaf of it. Now, when I say a leaf, I am referring to all of this. You can see all these little 1, 2, 3, all these little green portions of it. Those are called leaflets. But this whole thing here is actually the leaf of the pecan tree. So some trees have just one single green leaf, if you will. Then other trees, like the pecan tree, have these leaflets. Pecan tree is very important because it produces pecans. And wildlife and us, we utilize that. We can eat those. In fact, and they also provide lots of tree shade because they're so big. And speaking of the pecan is also the state health nut, the pecan itself. So when you're looking at pecan trees, especially in the fall, you'll see these green things sticking out of the tree. And inside of the green portions, this outer cover is the pecan itself. And this is an important resource for the state. A lot of states have pecans and they produce a lot of pecans. You may like pecan pie there during Thanksgiving, and that's a result of that, having those pecans. And I remember as a kid, we would pick the pecans and we would get the green portions, and then when you open it up, kind of like that right there is, opened up, and you see the pecan in between that brown and black nut. We would open them up and we would do that for all the day. And then our fingers would turn like this brownish color. They were nasty looking because of that residue, that sap-like substance that encapsulates, that wraps around the pecan that's inside that green portion. So again, the state health nut. And pecan, again, is a very important tree because of all the food it produces, the nuts, and also the shade, the wildlife. Animals love to eat and crunch on those pecans. Those are very important. And even us, I remember we would pick the pecans and we would eat them as well. So let's move on and talk about our state plant. This too, like the state flower, the bluebonnet, is a very familiar plant we have here in Texas, here at the Nature Center, and throughout the West. And I'm referring to the prickly pear cactus. This is our state plant. Now, this plant here is very important because people will actually eat the green pads. The green part is the stem of the plant. They'll also get the fruit up here. Deer love that, so wildlife love it, as well as us as well. We can make jellies and make all sorts of food, candies from that. Now, one thing to know is when you look at the prickly pear cactus, you see the green portion right there. That's the stem. Well, if that's the stem, I would figure the green part's the leaf, right? Well, no. Actually, all these little spines, all those little spines, those are modified leaves. Modified leaves. So that's really strange. Where the green part you would think is the leaf. But no, it's the stem. And all those little sticky spines that you want to avoid are all the modified leaves. That's kind of cool. And it's those spines are very important because it helps protect the plant. You think about plants, they don't have some of them don't have really great ways to defend themselves. So having those spines is very important. So I'm just putting in that sheet picture because I want to show you the next one. The next one is our state grass. Now this is probably one you're not familiar with, but we do have a state grass. And as I said in the last session when we talked about the state symbols and animals, Texas is a prideful state, and we have lots of cool plants and animals that we want to use to symbolize the state of Texas. So our state symbol for a grass is this. It's called a side oats grama. And we actually have it. I'm right here by the visitor center. If you walk up, and visitor center's open now 7 days a week from 9 to 4:30. But if you're walking up that sidewalk and you look to your left, if you're coming from the parking lot, you look on the left side, you'll see side oats grama. You'll see this long stem here, and then all the little they like hang down bells. They look like little bells. But the oats, if you will, just grow on one side, and they kind of dangle down. Not to be confused with inland sea oats. Those are much bigger. These are much smaller. So side oats grama. And that's important to wildlife. Little birds like sparrows and other birds will utilize those little side oats, if you will, as a source of food. So that's pretty important as well. All right, now I have one more that I want to show you. As far as a state symbol. Now this state symbol is a very, very beautiful plant that we have all across Texas. You may have it in your backyard. It's a plant that we like to put because it produces some really beautiful colors, these bright purple flowers. We have one here at the Nature Center as well, and that is a Texas purple sage. Now I'll kind of go a little closer and kind of get a better view of those flowers. Beautiful flowers, right? So this goes hand in hand with the state pollinator. If you remember from last time, our state pollinator was, do y'all remember? Go ahead and say it out loud. I know you know it. Yeah, that's right, the Monarch Butterflies. So pollinators love this plant here because of all the nectar and the pollen it produces. These can be really large plants. So we actually have one in our building here, just on the side where it's collecting all those pollinators, and it's really cool, providing, again, a food source for all of them. And we have to keep that in mind and make sure that they're nice intact for that. So those are some of our state symbols when it comes to plants. So we talked about the bluebonnet, we talked about the pecan and the actual pecan itself, the pecan tree and then the pecan. We talked about our Texas purple sage as well as the prickly pear cactus, which one you don't want to touch. You stay away from that. So definitely look at that one. Definitely don't touch it. But there are other ones that we have as far as plant like our Texas vegetable. I know you kids are thinking, ooh, vegetables, yuck, yuck. But that's our Texas sweet onion. And then we have others that symbolize Texas. So I want you to go outside and appreciate these trees, and particularly some of the state symbols, such as our state tree pecan and our wildflowers like the bluebonnet. So I encourage you, as always, to get outside and discover nature for yourself. And we're going to meet back again in a couple weeks, and we have some more topics, nature-related topics that we're going to share with you, and you can learn with us and have an opportunity to just experience nature through a virtual world. But once again, it's not the same. You have to come out and visit me here at the Nature Center so we can look at some of these things in person in real life. So again, thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you virtually, and I hope you have a wonderful day and weekend. And we'll see you next time, guys. Have a great one, bud. Bye-bye.